Back in the 1950s, two American psychologists, Joe and Harry, were collaborating together on trying to describe the various stages of awareness that happen when people communicate with each other. It's kind of amazing, actually, that we can communicate as well as we do. I mean, first a thought forms in my head, an idea. And remember, inside my head is everything that makes me, me. All my growing up, my native language, my culture, my nationality, my experiences and worldview, my spirituality, everything that's ever influenced me, people, events, traumas, you name it. And I try to form that thought inside my head with all that into words. All along the way, while I'm trying to put this thing into words, there are going to be filters and censors and modifiers at work. And finally, I come up with the words and I say the words. But only half the trip has been made because my words have to go into your ears. And they have to go through everything that makes you, you, including all your filters and your worldview and so on and so on. So the thought that generated the words, hopefully, in my head, remains more or less intact as it reforms inside your head. So Joe and Harry were talking about this, and they came up with a kind of a window with varying shades of opacity that they decided to call the Johari Window. It's literally a window, and it has 4 panes. The first pane is the public arena. This is everything that everybody knows about you. Then there's the hidden or private area. It's also called the facade. And this is what you know about yourself, but you've opted not to share it with other people. And then over here is your blind spot. You don't really know this about yourself, but actually other people do know it about you. And then there's this black box. Whatever's in here is unknown, except of course to God. And you notice this column here on the left? This is everything you consciously know about you. And over here on the right, that's what you don't know about you. And then if you look at this top row here, this is what other people know about you, and then this bottom row is what others do not know about you. All throughout your communication with me, my communication with you, all our communication that we all have with each other, there are these 4 panes of the window in play. I share things with you that I intend to share, what I'm saying, for instance, and sometimes with my body language. I'm intentionally trying to convey something. But I am also sharing things I don't necessarily intend to communicate. Maybe it's in my tone of voice or my face, or maybe it's the words I choose or my relational style. So you take in both what I intend, my public arena, and what I may not intend, my blind spot. And it's vice versa when you communicate with me. So let's talk about these window panes. The ideal window is one that reflects a high level of trust in the group, or really, if you're going to expand this, in any meaningful relationship with somebody. So if you're in this window, the size of your arena increases because of your increased trust level in the group. The norms developed by your group for giving and receiving feedback are going to facilitate this kind of back and forth. The large public arena means that a lot of who you are and what you say and what you think, what you feel, is going to be open to your group members. And because of your openness, other group members don't need to interpret, or more likely, misinterpret what you're communicating, or end up projecting more personal meanings into whatever it is that you're trying to say. They understand what you're saying and what you're doing, and they know you're open to inviting feedback and also to giving feedback. So you don't need a large public area with everybody. This is for the people you feel safe with, who you trust. People you don't spend much time with, people you don't know that well, or let's say the relationship is just a casual acquaintance, they might see this kind of openness as threatening or at least not appropriate because of the kind of relationship you have with them. But even still, the more open you are in dealing with other people, the fewer games you're eventually going to play in relationships. But now let's look at the private or hidden window. If this is your bigger window, that makes you an interviewer. So window number 2 is a person who's characteristically participating by asking questions, but not really giving information or feedback. So for the person in this window, the size of their facade relates to the amount of information they give, or pretty much don't give, to other people. So the interviewer's way of participating in the group is to ask a lot of questions, to ask for information. They might even intervene by asking questions like, well, what do you think about this? Or how would you have acted if you were in my shoes? Or how do you feel about what I just said? Or even, how do you feel about this group? You see, the interviewer wants to know where other people stand before they share anything about themselves. And plenty of times, the interviewer never really does end up opening up to the group. And that makes it hard for the group to know what they're thinking or feeling. So people have even called that person out. They might say something like, hey, you're always asking me how I feel about stuff, but you never tell me what you think or what you're feeling. And after a while, the group's going to start withholding or feel distrustful or even become irritated with this interviewer style. But now let's look at window number 3. This is the blind spot window, the bull in the china shop window. This is a person who usually participates by giving feedback, but doesn't ask for feedback, or doesn't even know what to do with it. For the person in this window, they tell the group what they think of the group, how they feel about what's going on in the group, and where they stand on group issues. It's full transmission mode. The bull might lash out at group members or criticize the group as a whole, and they'll still see their own actions as being open and above board. Now, to the others, the bull either seems to be insensitive to the feedback they're getting, or they don't really even hear what the group members are telling them. The bull might be just a poor listener, or they might respond to feedback in a way that discourages group members from ever giving any more feedback. I mean, you probably have been with at least one person who's like that. Eventually, group members are going to get angry, they might cry, they might threaten to leave, but it's very hard on the group. And the big consequence of this bull in the china shop style is not knowing how they're coming across to other people or what impact they have on other people, because the bull doesn't correct the way they communicate. They don't correct what they say. They don't correct what they do. When they get group feedback, they appear out of touch or evasive, or their reaction is distorted. And without that modulation, the bull is just going to keep communicating ineffectively, because it ends up just being transmission mode, a one-way street. Since the bull is insensitive to the group's help, they are never going to know how to change, how to grow, how to mature. Now this unknown window. This is an interesting case. This would be more like a turtle. The 4th window is a person who quietly observes. They just want to watch. The person in this window doesn't really know that much about themselves, and the group doesn't know much about them either. This is the silent member in the group who never gives feedback, and they never ask for feedback. And it's hard for group members to know where the turtle stands in the group, or where any of the group members stand with the turtle, because the turtle is a mystery person. They appear to have this shell around them, insulating them from the other group members. And if the other group members confront the turtle by saying, you're not really participating, the turtle answers something like, well, I learn more by listening, which I know that sounds like really wise and mature maybe, or something like that, but the truth is, it's just not true. Even though the turtle may find it painful to interact with the group, to share feedback and to ask for feedback, they are going to learn a whole lot more than they would by hiding in the shadows, passively observing. The turtle shell is actually a very effective protective measure to keep other people from getting in, but also to keep the turtle from getting out. It actually will take quite a lot of mental and emotional energy to maintain this closed turtle shell system, because the group is going to increasingly ask for more. Now, the whole goal of asking for feedback and sharing about yourself, and also of giving feedback to others in the group, is to move information from your blind spot and your facade into the public arena, because that's where you and the group can both share about it and learn from it. But there's also a bonus. Look at this. The process of giving and receiving feedback also moves new information from the black box into the arena. You'll know when this happens, because you'll have an aha moment when you suddenly see a relationship between a here and now interaction in the group and a previous event. And you're going to find out you will gain insight and inspiration from these experiences. Now, I just want to leave you with some practical advice as you get started. It takes practice to give non-threatening feedback. So, practice. You are going to need to develop sensitivity to other people's needs and be able to put yourself in another person's shoes. But lastly, be accepting of yourself and of other people. Then your feedback is going to become more valuable to the people who receive it.